Yeah.
What is he? What are we looking at?
Pornhub.
What's the title? What's the title? What's the title?
Ass shots.
Adrien Broner may not have joined Gervonta Davis's camp for his fight against Lamont Roach, but he has involved himself in every way possible, and he has now sent striking warnings to Lamont Roach ahead of the fight. After all, it's fight week already, and we just can't wait to get into the mix already.
Ain't no beating time. Ain't no beating time. You just gotta know when to get out when it's time to go.
We know who Adrien Broner is, and we know when he comes firing, he comes with full bullets in his tank. And this comes after a series of comments from Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach doesn't mind giving anyone their props, even an upcoming opponent.
Obviously, I'm the best 130-pounder in the world. It's evident. I can't wait to prove it. I can't wait to show it. But, you know what I'm saying? Why not? And my name came up before.
Gervonta Davis receives his fair share of criticism. Some lambast his resume. Others have heavily dismissed his skill set. Some have also downplayed his place in the sport. Roach, though, doesn't believe those critiques have any legs to stand on. Roach grew up in somewhat the same vicinity as Davis, so he knows him better than most.
And I'm going to prove that I'm one of the best fighters in the world. And this is the beginning of my legendary run. This right here.
Now, we've seen Ryan Garcia get in the ring with him.
Over the years, Roach has nodded his head in approval as Davis became a multi-divisional champion, a pound-for-pound star, and according to some, the face of boxing. The latter is something that Roach has no problem admitting. But while Davis is enjoying his time at the very top, the current WBA super featherweight champion knows that all good things must come to an end. I'ma show y'all what it takes to be the new face of boxing come March 1st, said Roach during an episode of Against All Odds, The Reaper's Tale, Episode 1.
I believe that, because I've spoken to Rolly, their approach is, we're dehydrated, we had to go in there, do what we had.
As Roach alludes to, both he and Davis will jump into the ring against one another on March 1st in Brooklyn's Barclays Center. Roach has competed in the lightweight division before, but he made his name one weight class below. The 5-pound difference, along with Davis's penchant for putting his opponents in the hospital, has odds makers believing that Roach essentially has no chance.
Then the nigga keep talking about some no disrespect. Come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. You's a real fake nigga, for real. Like, you's a real...
The doubters and naysayers, however, are a good thing to have. Roach remembers when the sportsbooks pegged him as an underdog against Hector Luis Garcia, yet he proved them wrong. Against Davis, the 29-year-old knows what he's up against. The Baltimore native normally crushes his opponents and showed no mercy against Frank Martin recently, brutally stopping him in the 8th round this past June.
Real fake nigga. Fuck is you hating for, bro? Every time you see me, it's what up, shawty. Is that, you know how you talk. Fuck is you talking about, bro? I'm really him.
In order to avoid a similar fate, the work Roach puts in will have to be at an all-time high. It's work time. Over the years, Tank has been accused of handpicking his opponents. Gervonta Davis, as in his previous outings, has promised his opponent a devastating knockout, and Adrien Broner has also added his first to this.
All the champions. I wanted to unify at least one belt at 130. Okay. So whoever the champion is, whoever the champions are.
In his words, he said to Lamont Roach, "I'll break you up. Keep your mother and your kids at home." Really, the last person he told this didn't get to see the 9th round, as he was knocked out cold in the 8th round with a devastating punch from Gervonta Tank Davis. This matchup promises to be even more intriguing when you consider the spice of revenge in it. Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach might be in different weight classes, but they aren't strangers to one another.
No, none of that.
Not at all.
Tell him I'm gonna f him up.
Not at all. Never. Nothing's gonna get f***ed up over here. What do I look like getting f***ed up?
It brings memories of the match between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, which was their first professional fight, but 7th encounter against themselves. They had fought 6 times in the amateurs, with each of them winning 3 fights apiece. This time, Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis have fought just twice, with Tank Davis winning both fights. Now Lamont Roach seeks revenge, especially for one of the fights where he feels he was robbed by the judges. And there's also another layer of intrigue when we remember that this fight marks the beginning of the end for Gervonta Davis. If the boxing world is to believe his claims, then he's made up his mind to retire this year.
Stop closing up. Gotta let it go.
In all sincerity, Lamont Roach needs a benefit of doubt from boxing fans to increase his confidence and enable him to get the most desired prize on fight night. A victory over Gervonta Tank Davis to clinch the World Boxing Association title. Now, Lamont Roach has assessed a recent training footage of Gervonta Davis and tweeted on X before eventually deleting the same tweet. Easy work there.
Another guy from Ukraine, Dennis Baranchik or something like that.
Okay. I feel like you and Shakur are really... I think people in the comments are actually wanting that fight, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that'd be a good fight.
It was a random tweet that only those who had followed the progression of his tweets or saw Gervonta Davis's training footage would understand his intention. Shortly before this, he tweeted a response to a fan who wrote, "We are whipping DC bum for the rest of the year. Ravens today, Tank in December." To this, Lamont Roach responded, "This stuff is different over here," claiming he won't be a victim of Tank Davis when they eventually lock horns in the ring. All of these culminated in his tweet about Tank Davis's training session. And really, Lamont Roach has some good work to do in hyping himself up ahead of the fight. He's in such a situation where he needs to focus on the gym and focus on getting a huge payday. Hence, this requires him to keep trying to make an impression before the fight and get Gervonta Davis involved in a serious feud with him. But if you ask me, I'd suggest he gets locked in training to work on everything that needs to be worked on and perfect his skills as he approaches the biggest fight in his career. Maybe he has a contrary opinion though, especially when he began a social media war with Tank Davis. Despite being the World Boxing Association super featherweight champion, fans are not excited about the fight. But the boxer duo decided to hype up the clash when both of them got into a war of words on X, as Roach tried to troll the WBA lightweight champion just to receive a stellar response.
All right, so a funny thing that people probably don't know is that I've been, considered an opponent, or like a considerable opponent before.
The argument started when heavyweight boxer Marcellus Williams asked Davis about the camp fees to spar with the champion. Williams wanted to work on his skills and had every motivation to make the situation work. However, Lamont Roach Jr. quickly responded to the tweet and stated, "He gonna need to spar you bra no funny." Davis immediately asked the meaning behind the post, and Roach quoted a fan reaction who explained the tweet. Roach quoted a fan reply who wrote, "Translation, you need to spar someone heavy cause he is coming with it," explaining the meaning behind Roach's tweet. According to the Reaper, the 30-0 boxer needs to spar against heavier boxers before their fight in December, and even though Davis is thinking of an easy fight, Roach will take this opportunity to make a name for himself and increase his stocks.
To me personally, I'm not stunned that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to keep saying that. They're going to keep saying that. You know what I'm saying? I fight at 130 because that's what I campaigned at. That's why I started my career.
Tank did not let the disrespect go idly as he responded and wrote, "I advise you not to talk so much. It can be bad for you. You know that already though, yo," stating that Roach should do the talking inside the ring and not online. He further warned Roach about the consequences of making the World Boxing Association lightweight champion angry. The war of words quickly picked up steam from there as Roach struck back and stated that he was not like the other guys Davis had fought before. Over the years, Tank has been accused of hand-picking his opponents. Roach wrote, "You must think I'm one of those regular guys you fought or something. LOL, cut it out." Making sure that the Baltimore native knows it won't be like his previous fights. Even though he is from a lower weight class, he wants this fight and will do anything and everything to shock the world. Gervonta Davis once again decided to control his words and indicated that he would do the talking in the ring.
B-more, does that add anything to it?
No, not necessarily. I think maybe for the outside. I think maybe it's for the outside. I think the fire is the competitive.
He quoted Reaper's tweet and just wrote, "Say nothing," expressing his superiority over the World Boxing Association super featherweight champion. This online war has created some hype for the fight. The fight will take place at 135 pounds, and the World Boxing Association lightweight title will be on the line. Lamont Roach is a good fighter. He's technically sound. He's a championship level fighter. But as far as opponents for Gervonta Tank Davis in a pay-per-view event go, I'd prefer to see someone who has produced explosive performance at the highest level, or at least is a polarizing personality. Davis is a bona fide pay-per-view star. Whether you agree that so many of his fights should have been on pay-per-view, and I disagreed with most of them, he's been established on pay-per-view for a while now. What's been lacking is the proper opposition necessary to charge those kinds of fees. Roach is a solid fighter, but he hasn't reached the pinnacle, and I also don't think he's the nature of character to compensate for that. He's had success at super featherweight, but it's taken him a while to do so. If he'd made numerous title defenses, a fight between him and Davis might make more sense, but he's made one, against Feargal McCrory. We've seen Davis in this sort of fight before, such as against Hector Luis Garcia, who since being stopped by Davis has only lost a split decision to Roach. But then that's become the pay-per-view model. Once a fighter has that status, he stays on pay-per-view regardless of his opposition.
I wanted to get your thoughts. I appreciate you coming out. I wanted to get your thoughts, Danny, on the Tank Roach thing. So just your thoughts on the fight in general. What do you think about the fight?
Frank Martin, Davis's past opponent, is also a solid fighter, and unlike Roach, is established at lightweight. Calvin Ford notably had a different training camp with Gervonta Davis, as Adrien Broner accompanied the Baltimore native in camp while he prepared for his fight against Blair Cobbs.
Tank caught me like, yo, I need some help with this. You know what I'm saying? The AB came to me, and the great thing that I loved about the whole situation, from all the stuff AB...
Hopefully, the presence of Adrien Broner didn't create any form of bad luck for Gervonta Davis, as he was absolutely embarrassed by Blair Cobbs the weekend before Gervonta Davis's fight. Talking about what the training camp looked like at that point, one of the reporters asked Calvin Ford about Adrien Broner's training camp, and he responded, "My thoughts is that he's doing what we need him to do. I'm seeing the transition. I'm seeing a glimpse of what I used to watch when I was on TV, when he was on TV and stuff," said Ford.
But I also know one thing though, being too confident can get you killed. And I also know that about the game as well.
How did you know he had trouble with the law? How'd you find that out?
According to the trainer, almost everyone had given up on the problem, but the fact remains that he never went anywhere, Ford said. But he's still here, so he has a mission that has not been completed yet. So this opportunity that Don gave to him, he gets to show the world that he never left.
We ain't here for that. But.
Okay, but you have connections everywhere.
Hey, see, everybody thought he was gone, see?
Do you think he met Chapo?
Another reporter checked whether Davis and Broner were happy to be collaborating together in the camp. Ford replied that he could see Tank paying back for all the favors and help he received from Broner. So in many ways, he stressed, their roles have changed since how they used to be earlier.
Do you think he met El Chapo?
I mean, I ain't worried about that, you know. What up, Chapo?
But no, that's...
The roles changed. It's like Tank the big brother, Broner the little brother. But they both, even because, again, that's showing the respect of the levels before and then after, you know. So it's a good thing.
I'm about to get out of here.
Me too.
All right. So, message to your fans, Adrien. What do you tell people who love you and support you?
Support me, follow me, and I'll fight for y'all. I mean, you already know. AB, Adrien Broner.
However, at the grand arrival, Calvin Ford made more shocking revelations about Gervonta Davis's preparations. He claimed rustiness played a big role in affecting his fighter, considering he had been out of the ring for over a year. So much had happened in the space of 14 months, and it's as a result of this that the more active Frank Martin could gain some edge over his opponent.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the trainer of Gervonta Tank Davis. Here is.
There was a collective groan around the MGM Grand Lobby when it was announced that Gervonta Tank Davis would not actually be arriving at his own grand arrival on Tuesday. The fight week opener fizzled ahead of Davis's scheduled World Boxing Association lightweight title defense against Frank Martin on Saturday, and disappointed fans were left shaking their heads, with Davis trainer Calvin Ford left to carry the can and break the news. "I want to apologize to the fans," Ford said, killing the buzz that had built since the scheduled arrivals started some 90 minutes earlier.
Business, y'all. You know, we've been waiting for this for a while. It's been a while since we've been in the ring. So we just want to come out and put on a great performance for the fans. Is all.
He can't make it at this moment because he's been delayed, but he's going to make it up to y'all on fight night. Trust what I'm saying to y'all. Y'all want to see this performance that he's going to put onto the fans? The 4-division belt holder Broner is now training with Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis, the trainers of Gervonta Davis. Broner is holding his camp for Cobbs in Las Vegas as Davis prepares to fight Frank Martin on June 15th. Despite a smile, Broner appeared to carry a heavy heart as he reflected on Stafford, who passed away last year.
He's not confident because if he bring his best, he'll bring the best out of me. So.
Coach Mike is everything to me, Broner said. I promised myself before I hung the gloves up that I would become a world champion again for Coach Mike and myself. That's the goal. Broner, 34, is often remembered for his out-of-the-ring antics, including an arrest at a bowling alley in 2016 for robbery and his documented battles with alcohol.
Trainer Mike Stafford, kind of like a very but just in depth, like just point of just posting that, was that just a kind of
He hasn't had a world-class win since 2017, which was a split decision against Adrien Granados. Once seen as a Hall of Fame caliber fighter, Broner has become a cautionary tale for young boxers. He spoke about the importance of winning a world title at this stage in his career, and how much being a titleist has meant to him over the years, something he feels hasn't always been understood by the public. Honestly, all of my world titles are special to me, Broner said. All my life, all I ever wanted to do was become a world champion. Every time I won one, I cried tears. I'm pretty sure I'll do the same when I win the next one.
I'm just ready for the bell to ring and for my opponent to be across. Shit, that's like Black Cobb right there.
Broner's fight with Cobbs, 34, is seen as a last stand of sorts. He is no longer the youthful title holder who was one of the faces of the newly established Premier Boxing Champions nearly a decade ago. Having fought only twice in 5 years, Broner needs a strong performance to justify his stardom. During his media workout, he reflected on his tough journey in the sport. Boxing can eat you up and spit you out and move on to the next, Broner said. When your career is done and over with, they're going to look for the next upcoming boxer. So I always try to tell everybody, just do what is best for you.
Nah, man, I feel good, man. Training camp's been going great, and I'm sure to put on a great performance. Broner, just talk to us to see relocated.
Adrien Broner truly has had quite a successful run in his boxing career. The fighter has amassed a record of 34 wins and 4 losses in his professional career. Eventually, Broner retired from the sport as he wished to focus on his mental health before making his comeback. And it's really not an easy task figuring out his mental health, as he dropped an apology letter to several of his friends, a letter that went very viral on the internet.
You with their problems, but you can't go to nobody.
Broner's mental state has been under question by himself the most, but by others on the outside looking in. The problem has been dealing with many of his namesakes for the past few years, causing him to fight only 4 times in 6 years despite being just 33. Now, after making a triumphant return to the ring, Broner continued his battle with alcoholism and narcotic addictions. Among other vices Broner admitted to having are gambling troubles and a penchant for too many women. As his next fight date moves closer, the Cincinnati man took the opportunity to beg forgiveness from several of his ex-pals. Taking to social media, Broner issued a 400-word grovel to many of his old buddies, including Mayweather and Gervonta Davis. The American fighter, famed for his penchant for knockouts, is growing weary of doing it all. So instead of solidifying his resume and legacy as one of the greatest, he might be looking for an early exit. The fans have seen very little of him in the last couple of years, so they expected him to be more active after putting his legal troubles behind. The champion seemed to do the same for a while. He fought Frank Martin this June, but again, despite the promises and rumors, his return was only prolonged. Now it seems that he might be willing to make his absence permanent. During the first official press conference for Davis versus Roach, Tank lifted the veil from the expectations fans could have from him.
The Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously...
When asked about what his schedule in 2025 looked like, he straight away hinted at hanging up gloves. He said, "After next year, I'm out of it, out of the sport. And that's all for now?" For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.